All right, guys, so week 11, welcome everyone, and let's review week 10 briefly. So week 10, what was the homework? We talked about logging two unique bugs. We said, all right, I think I mentioned a couple of times in the class, do not log the same bug as we logged on the practice class, right? You know, a portion of application is not loading. For example, I said, we are logging a bug of the hotels, I believe it was. This is not working and it's under construction. We have logged this bug. Now, regardless of whichever the other page is doing the same thing, do not log that, right? Vacation, destination, cruises. No, cruises probably working. Yeah, so what about car rental? So car rental, destination, and vacation, or any other pages behaving the same way, do not log the same bug, because if you're doing that, all you're doing, changing a couple of words and everything else stays the same, right? You're not getting your practice done. So I have seen a lot of people log the similar bug, which is not acceptable. So that's one thing I have noticed. Another thing I have noticed that a lot of you submitted only one bug. We ask you to log two bugs. Sorry, where is that? Log two bugs in Microsoft Word. But a lot of you log only one bug. I also said, like, you know, this application might be working fine, but assume there is a bug. Come up, be creative, come up with a bug. I don't know if you struggle doing that. And the next part of this was to watch the video of this one. Now, did you guys watch this video, YouTube video about creating test cases? How was your experience with this? All right, so I muted some of you. If you're not talking, guys, please stay muted. How was your experience, guys? Was this helpful? Watching that video, did it give you some more ideas about how to create test cases? How to be a better tester when it comes to designing test cases? Was it helpful?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought for me, this was really good. Even I watched it 2 years back, and when I sat down and started watching this nice and slow, my mind opened up so much more after this one. I could start thinking differently. I could, because, you know, before that, you're creating test cases. Okay, we are writing test cases, let's say about a pen. We're seeing, like, you know, does the pen work? Can we write? Is it, how long can it write? Things like that, and done. But after watching this video, it opens so many more windows for me. So I hope you guys were helped. I hope it helped you guys as well. You can watch it again. You know, what I have seen historically, like when you watch something once, you know, of course it helps you, but when you rewatch it, it even helps you more. So if you need to rewatch it, go ahead and do it. But it was very good for me. Anyway, secondly, about writing the bugs, some of you did really good job, really good job. So I want to highlight a couple of folks here in this class, and going forward, I think we should identify student of the week, something like that, based on the conversation and interaction in the group, Microsoft Teams, and on the homework, the quality of the homework. We should nominate at least one person as a student of the week. And this week, I think Brother Samad did a really good job. I was going through his documents, so I'm just going to show you a little bit about what he has done. So this is his bug report. The documentation was wonderful. His cover, everything. This is his cover page. I'm not, when it comes to bug, you don't have to do it this way, but you know, of course, you know, when you're writing a document, when you're submitting a document, of course, this is very important. So has done a wonderful job. And look at his defect summary, where it happened and what exactly happened. Summary was done wonderfully. Steps are really nice. Actual result, expected result, priority, assignee, and the evidence he has provided. It was really, really good. The screenshot, he has provided multiple screenshots. He highlighted the area, commented on it. It was really done well. So I had to, so second one is good as well. So congratulations, brother Samad, and thank you so much for the job you have done this week.
You're welcome, Qadir.
All right. Secondly, brother Shuel, he also did really good job. I really liked his the defect that he has logged. It was very detailed. Only problem with that, he only logged one defect, but the one he logged, it was really, really nice. The steps, the description, the actual result, actual expected result, the screenshot, everything was good. So thank you guys for that. Going forward, let's be more careful. Let's read, let's understand what was asked and what we should do. So that way, I think it will be good, you know. All right, so this week, let's talk about, we are almost done, guys, with the STLC. We are in defect right now. And then, yeah, we talked about all of these things already. Entry, exit. Okay, so basically our topic is defect. We're continuing with the defect under STLC. This is test plan. Let's go up right here. So no, this is test plan. Okay, right here, STLC. So we have done test execution. We have done test. We've done identify and log defect. Now we're going to be doing tracking defect. And when it comes to tracking defect, you have to understand a defect life cycle. So let's talk about defect life cycle. What is defect life cycle? Just like everything, you know, there is a life cycle, right? You know, there is birth and death, and in between the time how you travel. So if you can see my screen clearly, and we are showing the defect life cycle here, and just understand this is a standard defect life cycle. When you work in your company, this could change. And just like everything else, I always mention, there is no standard in place as long as it makes sense. In IT industry, each company works differently, but you have to make sense out of it. So here, when you log a defect, like these are the different statuses: new, open, assigned, fixed, verified, closed. Then we have a reopen, we have rejected and deferred. So it's very, very important that you understand this standard workflow, and then we will show you other workflow as well. And I'll take you to my actual work environment and show you. So it makes sense. And you will see statuses will change company to company. So this is IT solutions standard statuses. So when we log a defect, obviously the status will be new. And this is an automated status. When you log it, it's going to be automatically new. And then next status, right? You know, someone, let's say from the developer manager team, will open that defect to see what type of defect it is. They will change the status to open. And they will see what type of defect it is. And they will, let's say there are 5 developers working. The developer manager will decide who he should assign this ticket to fix, right? So after opening it, he will assign it to someone, an individual from the dev team, and the status will change to assigned. Right? Assigned is same as in progress. So different company would use different status, and I'll show you some examples. So new, when you log it, open, when the manager, developer manager opens it, he will change the status to open, and then he will assign it to an individual developer, and status will change to open. And that person, when he works on it and fixes it, after working on it, he will fix it. Once he feels that that defect is fixed, he will change the status to fix. And when you see as a QA that status got changed to fix, you're going to start working on it, the fix bug, because you log a bug. What is a bug? Bug is an issue, and application has issue, right? We talked about it here. The flights page or the hotel page is not working. So I'm going to log this bug, just like you guys log this bug. And you're going, and when you log it, you know, that time the status is going to be new, right? And you don't worry about it for after logging it until it status changes to fixed. So once you see that status change to fixed, this is the part of your tracking the defect, right? Once you see the status change, you're going to start working on it. And if that bug was fixed genuinely, you're going to change the status to verified, and you're going to log your evidence. Just like here, you provided your evidence, right? When it comes to logging the bug. And guys, this is best practice when you're working on a defect. I cannot open it, it seems. I can, okay. So when you log the bug, right, you are providing evidence. Okay, I have logged this bug, there's an issue here, and here's my screenshot, right? So when the developer fixes it and you test it and you see it's fixed, you want to provide your evidence again to make sure that it's recorded. You have tested it and this functionality is working. You want to provide the evidence. And why? You don't have to, but when I say, when we teach you the best possible materials. A lot of people do not do that. But what happens today, they fix it. Tomorrow, they work on something else. They may break it. And if you close this bug, and if you do not provide evidence tomorrow, you cannot, when they challenge you, hey, did you test it? We see this is broken. And why did you close this ticket? You won't be able to argue. You have nothing, no evidence. So when you're changing this status to fix, make sure you're providing your evidence to the ticket saying, hey, I have tested this ticket and it seems like this functionality is working fine. Here is my evidence, done, right? So assign, fix, sorry, verified, when you say verified, right? After verifying, you know, the status will change to closed. When it's verified and everything is good, so status will be closed. So this is happy path, right? New, open, assign, fix, verified, close. This is happy path. There's no issue. Now let's say the developers here, they're saying, okay, I have fixed this issue and it's working fine. Now you come here and you test it. So you come here, so developers here, they're gonna say it's fixed, right? Now, this is where you're gonna come in and start looking into it. And when you see there's an issue, the issue still exists. Maybe let's say the issue entirely not fixed. Part of it is still fixed, or the issue is entirely still there. You're gonna reopen it. You are not going to change the status to verified or closed. You're going to reopen it. And reopen, when you reopen it, it's going to go back to assign again to the developer, same developer, and he has to work on it again. He needs to work on it again, and he has to change it, the status to fix again. And then you're going to retest it here again. And if it's fixed, then you're going to push it to verified. If it's not fixed, you can again reopen the bug. You can again reopen the bug and it's going to go into the same circle. So this is the reopen part, and this is your interview question as well. They will ask you, like, what is the reopen status mean in defect life cycle? So that's one way. The other way is like, okay, so when you log a bug, right? When you log a bug, right? And the bug is assigned, it's right here. After assigning it, they could decide to reject the bug. So let's talk about reject first. After opening the bug is assigned, and then they could reject the bug. Right? So there could be multiple scenarios for rejection. So one, developer does not agree. Developers say, hey, you logged the bug. I don't think it's a bug. Simple as that. They could just reject it. And that's also, I mean, if you're giving 2 interviews, at least one person will ask you, when developer rejects the bug, what do you do at that point? Guys, anytime, at any point, ask questions. It's important that you understand. You're going to be dealing with this every day. Bugs are your best friends. You will be logging the bugs. You will be explaining the bugs. You will be working on the bugs. That's all you do, right? You're 50% of the time you're dealing with the bugs. You are a QA. Your job is to find bug, log bug, retest the bug, close the bug, report, send out the report about bugs, different statuses in bugs. We talked about like blocker, high, highest, low, medium, things like that, right? This is what you're going to be dealing with. So it's important that you understand each and everything about bugs. So now they could just reject it, right? And say, hey, it's not a bug. So that's one reason they could reject it. And another reason they could reject it if you're logging a duplicate bug. So let's say you have more than one person, a QA person in your project. So if 2 of you log in the same bug, they could reject it and say, hey, this bug is duplicate. So if this bug is duplicate and they're rejecting, it's no question asked, right? You're going to be like, okay, I see. That's fine. Let's close it. Done. But in the case like when they're rejecting it and they're saying it's not a bug and you think it's a bug, that's a problem. That is a problem. And how do we solve this? Now, I have seen there are multiple scenarios, right? In my actual project, we as a QA, we don't have so much technical knowledge. So sometimes like we see something in a way and they see it differently, and they'll explain, hey, like, I understand, why you log this bug, but this is what you're supposed to do. Things like that. When an application is technical, this is when I have seen these kind of issues. When an application does not have UI, graphical GUI, graphical user interface, that's when we have a lot of these issues. Like when I say no UI, there are backend related application which does not have UI, you don't see anything. All you're dealing with data, which I do a lot. So in those type of application, you see a lot of issues like this. Like we think there's a bug, but that there is something we are missing, maybe not enough knowledge as a QA, and we're seeing it differently. And dev will say, hey, yeah, it's fine, you logged it, but this is what you're supposed to do, or things like that. Fine. So that's one rejection. And if they're able to provide you enough evidence about that rejection, obviously, if it makes sense to you, you accept it and you close it and you move on. But if you still feel it's a bug and they're not agreeing with you and they're not understanding why you think it's a bug, now you need to talk to them, right? And how do you talk to them? And I'll show you in the Jira tool. So Jira tool, obviously you and I will work on it. We'll do a project on Jira tool. So the communication is done there. You can provide a comment every time you make a changes. You must provide a comment every time they make a changes. That they should provide a comment saying why they're making the changes, whether it's changing the status, whether they're accepting, rejecting, or closing a ticket. They should provide a comment, and you should do the same. Now, communication can be done on the Jira ticket itself, or you can set up a call and talk to them. Hey, I think this is a bug. This is what the application is doing. This is what the application should do. And after that, after you giving them further evidence, they don't agree with you. This is when you talk to the business analyst. Business are the ones who creates the requirement, who understand how the application should behave, right? So you will involve the business and let the business make the decision. Let the business tell if this is a bug or this can be closed, this can be rejected, and not worry about it. So this is an interview question, and I hope you understood this one.
Karib, I have a question.
Sure, brother.
So you said when you say it is bug, but the developer said it's not a bug. So when you both are disagree, you have to go to the business analysis to get the opinion it is bug or not, right?
Yeah. So initially, there could be a situation where what you are seeing, developers might not be seeing the same. So you have to understand the situation. If you feel that he is not understanding what you're trying to convey, this is when you can explain further to him, give him more evidence. But if you feel that this person is not willing to accept the bug and you feel strong about this one, you involve the business. And how do you do that? In a meeting. So we have daily meetings. Like when you're in agile scrum model, right, there are daily meetings. So you can, in that meeting, everybody talks about their statuses, everybody talks about what's blocking, everybody talks about the priority items. So you can say, hey, this is my today's status, I work on this and that. Fine, you provide your stuff. Then you say, hey, I have a correction, right? I log this bug. Let me share my screen. This is the bug. This is the application. This is how it should behave, but it's behaving differently. Now I log this bug assigned to ABC developer, and he thinks it's not a bug. I want, your opinion. Obviously, in your Scrum call, you'll have the business is there, Scrum Master there, everybody's there, and say, hey, like, what do you guys think as a team? Is this something we should consider? Or you guys also think this is not a bug? Let's make a decision here. So this is the best way to go.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome. And then another way, like, you have the ticket, right? So ticket have assigning. So when you're logging the bug, you're going to assign it to the developer. Now, when he rejects it, he's going to send it back to you and assign it back to you. Right. So what do you do at that point? You assign it to the business analyst saying, hey, I feel this is a bug, and we are having a little bit confusion or something like that. You say something nice, right? You don't want to say, hey, he's not agreeing. You say something nice and say, okay, the main thing is you assigning the ticket to the business and let them come back to you. So you're covering your back. In the future, if there's an issue like this, and I'll give you an example right now. And it just doesn't have to be about bugs. It can be anything, right? Now I don't log bugs. I don't remember last time when I logged a bug or opened the application. I'm more on the high level, but I can give an example, right? So I have meetings, like weekly meetings with different managers or director, things like that, to see like high level what's happening in that project and organization and things like that. So, we talk about what we're seeing, what direction we could go, and what's best for the team, and like that. And obviously, I am responsible for the entire QA team in our projects. And obviously, there are dev folks and delivery managers and things like that. So we have 8 teams, and one of the team is building common functions, common libraries for rest of the team to utilize. And why we are doing this, I'm sorry guys if this is getting complicated, I don't mean to confuse you, but I think some of you will be benefited from this conversation. So we have 8 projects, and ideally, usually, like, every project builds their own stuff. And when you're doing that, we felt like a lot of the thing could be reusable. A lot of the thing each of these 8 teams or 8 project will be utilizing and spending time and building it individually. And we wanted to avoid that. So we said, okay, let's build a team who is going to build all the common libraries and functions so everybody can utilize that. So we hired an entire team offshore to fully work on those common libraries, which was fine. It was very good decision from the organization to do that. But I, as a QA, like, of course, we don't control this. My job is to make sure that QA department is running. We are not syncing. Everything is running fine. But somehow I was able to understand, like, we have a team dedicated to build the common functions. But I saw that other teams are doing the individual thing, which we had to avoid. We want the main reason we had that team so that people are not building individual common libraries and functions. We wanted to avoid that. But I sensed it that like some of the teams are doing it, and we need to find a way to avoid that. So I had like weekly calling the director, and I tried to explain this to him, and he didn't understand what I was trying to say. He thought that I probably didn't understand what I'm conveying to him. So he kind of took it the wrong way. So when I sensed that, I stopped. I was like, no, none of my business. You're going to be losing money. I'm saying inside internally. I'm not gonna stress about it. That's not even in my responsibility. Fine. A month goes by. A month goes by. I stayed quiet that entire time. A month goes by. The same guy calls me up and he started apologizing. And understand he's a director, senior director. He started apologizing. He's like, man, I wish I understood what you were saying. I wish that I was giving more time to the conversation that you were trying to convey, and I totally got it wrong. And we spent a month and a lot of money got wasted just because I did not listen to what you're trying to say. And that moment I felt really, really good, because my intention was not to say anything negative about a team or individual, but all I was trying to do, save the company money, because we wanted to avoid rework and duplicate work. But this is what I felt that was being done. So why I'm sharing this, there is a way you convey your messages. And if you feel that you don't want to get into it with anybody, understand this is a professional environment. You don't want to get a direct conflict with anyone. Your job is to convey your messages. If you feel that someone is not taking it rightly, you want to rethink, you want to step back and rethink, like, what is the best way I could move forward? Never direct conflict with anyone. So, and everything that you do, you must record it. So how do you record it? There are tools, right? There are emails, there are obviously Jira is the best platform, and let me show you how it's done. So before I move on from this, guys, any questions about the Jira workflow? Anything that I need to recover? Do we understand why we need to understand the Jira workflow, Jira lifecycle?
Yes, sorry, can you just briefly just go over the whole cycle again? So, it's just a little bit more clear. Like, you don't need to go into details like you did. Thank you.
Cool. So this document, like we have here, and is
Also, one more
explaining.
time, brother. I don't understand that deferred. Can you just explain one more, the deferred?
Deferred. Oh yeah, I did not cover that. Sorry. Thank you. So
No
rejected, we understand, right? And deferred is something. So we understand rejected, right? They could reject it if a duplicate bug is logged. They would reject it. And secondly, if they don't agree with it, they'll reject it. Deferred is, let's say, when a bug got created and opened and assigned, and they see this is a minor bug. So we have different statuses: blocker, high, medium, low. If a bug is low priority, now they can say, hey, and that's a business decision. So when it's assigned, it could be assigned to a developer or a business to look into it. So they could say, hey, yes, this is a bug, we understand it, but right now we don't have the time to fix it. We're gonna push it to the next release. We have releases, right? If you're working in Scrum, we have every 2 weeks you have a release. Every 2 weeks you're pushing some code out to next environment. So when a bug got logged and it's a low priority and business things that it's can be fixed in the future releases, they will push it to the future releases and change the status to deferred. So it is understand it is a valid bug, but it's in low priority and it will be fixed in the future releases. That's when the status changes to deferred. So these things are commonly asked in the interview. So understand this. Why is rejected? Why is deferred? Why is reopened? All right. So let me explain to you Jira workflow in an actual environment. So it will make more sense. I hope you don't get confused. Let me go to my Jira.
Kadir, real quick, like, do we have access to that document you're just using?
Yeah, I will share this along with the homework.
All right.
All right. So, okay. So backlog. All right. So the red items are the bugs. So I'm going to open one of them. Here you go. So here the workflow would be different. Jira is a configurable tool, guys. As a Jira admin, you could configure it any way you want. So we have configured it. Look at our, so we log this bug. Let's see what are the things we understand. So this is the status. I'm not going to talk about it right now. So the first part right here, obviously you understand this is the summary of the defect. Under the description, we have the steps, right? We're providing the URL, we are providing the browser detail, we're providing steps, we are providing expected result, we are providing the screenshot, we are providing the actual results. Everything is there, right? You understand. Now let's look at the right hand side. What do we understand here? We know who reporter is automated field. If you're reporting it, it's going to show your name. Assignee, we have to manually assign it to an individual, and this person is, her name is Natalia, and she's a developer. So we have assigned it to her. Next thing, we are talking about which environment we found the bug. And this is not a mandatory field. We don't need to worry about it, but it's good to have. We are saying we have tested this functionality in QA environment, and this issue is in QA. Component teams, let's not worry about now. Priority, this is important, right? We have multiple priority. We have blocker, critical, minor, measure. The measure is like falls below critical and above minor. So this is like a medium priority bug, right? So this is what we understand, we talked about before. That's all, right? These are the field we talked about. Now let's go back to the Jira workflow, view workflow. This workflow is configurable. Again, I'm mentioning this over and over again so you understand. We configure it the way we want, the way we like. Is it visible, guys? Okay, let's see. Can you guys see the workflow? Is it visible? Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, it's better.
Right. Okay, so look at the workflow here. Workflow. This is very, very complicated. This is the most complicated workflow you'd ever see in a defect, but let's go over it. So draft is the first one. Draft, so whenever you log a bug, the status is draft, right? Then refinement. Ignore refinement is not applicable for bug. This workflow is applicable to bug ticket, story ticket, and epic, right? So we have multiple tickets, right? Type. So this is applicable to all of them. But for bug, I'm going to highlight which ones are applicable. So draft, backlog, in development, code review, ready for QA, obviously manual QA, but you really don't need to worry about this. Ignore this one for a second. After that, it goes to review, TPO, technical product owner review. Yeah. Accepted to deploy and deploy. So this is very complex and very high level workflow, and you won't see it in your actual work. But let me explain this to you. So draft is same as new in the other workflow that we showed you. So draft is a default. Whenever you log a bug, the status will be draft by default. Now, does someone have a question? Okay. Draft is obviously default. Whenever you log it, the new is same as draft. Backlog is when they put this ticket under the backlog. And what is the backlog, right? We have multiple backlogs like sprint backlog. We have, you see right here, we have the sprint backlog. So when they bring this ticket under sprint backlog, this is when the status will change to backlog. Right? In development, it's nothing but developer is working on it. In development mean it's in progress. Developers are working in it. Then code review. So when developer finishes developing a ticket, whether it is a story, whether it is bug, they are not allowed to say, an individual is not allowed to say, okay, I fixed it and it's fixed. The industry standard is they have to have another person reviewing their code, because how they fix it, they write codes and somebody needs to review the code. So this is a code review status. And once they're done with this code review, they'll push it to QA. They'll say, it's done, ready for QA. QA should work on it. Whenever you see the status is ready for QA, you should start working on it. When you finish your testing, we should push it to product owner review. This is TPO, stands for technical product owner. And that product owner can accept it or reject it, right? So let's say they accepted it. Then we should push it to deploy. To deploy means there is a backlog where we put all the items to be deployed. So we deploy everything together. We don't deploy one ticket at a time. Let's say 20, 30, 40 tickets we compile together and then we deploy it. So this is more complex workflow, but the one I was showing you before, it's simpler version, but if you Google Jira workflow, you will see tons of them. Now, what else should I show here? Okay, so in that ticket, right now, communication, how do you do communication here? There's a comment section, right? Here, anything. So let's say developer, she's the developer, she wants to reject it. She can simply say, hey, you log this bug, but I don't think it's a valid bug, reject it, done. She's just going to comment it here. Now you can come back and she'll change it to you. You can come back and say, hey, you rejected it. I'm providing you more evidence. This is why I think it's the bug. You can provide comments. So all of this gets recorded here, and it's very, very important you do those recording here. Let me give you an example. So obviously you see all of this work being recorded in the comment section. I wanted to give you the example. Okay, so look at this ticket, right? This ticket, telemetry domain, and this ticket is closed and everything. And this was never tested. And I was looking into it the other day. So I was kind of surprised. There's no comment, there's no work there. There's no QA involved. And this guys, if you go under history, like look at this, you go under history, you can see like, you know, every activity that happened in this ticket. And I was going through this And I see this guy right here, from in development, he changed it to blocked. From blocked, he changed it to closed beta. I was like kind of pissed. I was like, this functionality never went through QA, and how did you test? How did you close it? And this is a big deal. This is a big deal. This is a whole feature. If you look at it, it has so many tickets linked to it, and he just decided to close it. So I said, I tagged everybody. I was like, this guy's an architect, this guy's a director, this guy is a business, this guy is a business director, dev manager. So, man, this is not even it. The example I was trying to, yeah, right here. I was like, there are multiple open tickets linked to this service. I'm not sure how we close this one. Seems like ticket did not go through proper workflow. Kindly revisit this one. Let me know if I'm missing something here. So all I'm saying, right, you know, if you're changing a status, provide a comment so we know why you changed the status. Here you just randomly change the status. I don't know what happened, why you took this decision. So things like this, you know, you'll see at your actual work every day. So don't be surprised. Don't think, you know, everything's going to be smooth when you go to work. You know, people do own thing, people do their own thing. We just have to be careful. All right, I think I'm covering a lot of information, and I hope I'm not confusing you guys. I'm giving you guys live access to my project, live demo. Hopefully it's going to be helpful. But at the same time, I'm scared that, you know, if I'm giving you too much information and you feel like it's confusing you, please let me know. All right, guys, questions. I don't want to cover anything further today because this is very, very important. And next week, we're going to talk about different type of testings. When we are performing our testing, there are so many type of testing, at least 40, 50 type of testing, but we'll cover the most important ones, the ones you're going to be doing daily, and type of testing, how you perform those testing, and everything. We'll cover that next week. Very, very important day next week. But this week, it's important that you understand defect lifecycle, defect workflow. What's your responsibility when it comes to different statuses? All right, so let's go through questions and answer any questions, concerns, suggestions. All right, if you don't have any questions, then
Yeah, right. Sorry, I have a question. So let's say if it's like the perfect bug, so it'd be from new to open, assigned, fixed, and then closed, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously if it's an issue, then from the QA's end, let's say it's fixed, and then who would reopen it? Let's say if there's a bug. Do I make sense? I don't know.
So
how to put it more.
you're saying when developer fixes the bug and you think you retested and you feel like it's not fixed, right?
Yes. So then that's when we reopen it again, right?
Yeah, you reopen it, you provide evidence, you're saying, hey, you say, hey, I have retested this bug, the issue still exists, you just provide a screenshot and you just reassign the ticket to the same guy.
Got it. Okay. I think I was just confusing myself. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. You have like so much control over what you do and how you work and everything. Of course, you are empowered to make changes. You are like, you know, we always say we're creating leaders here. And why we say that, because when you go to actual work, you want to be a leader. They like it. They will like it when you're vocal. They like it when you're talking. They like it when you're aggressive. We from IT Solutions, we have a lot of students. They within months they became test lead. and I have multiple examples, and I don't want to put their names now. I would wait for them to announce their promotion or their success stories. But within months, we have people leading a team. I've been part of many organizations and people working as a QA for years, and they don't even know how to write a proper test case or a defect. But here from IT Solutions, I have multiple people reporting back to me saying, hey, I just got promoted. They just made me a lead. And it's so good to see. It's not one, multiple people. And we have from IT Solutions, people, a lot of people have concern when I get a job, will I be able to do my job properly? But from this organization, I have people working multiple jobs at once. And how they're doing it, because they're good enough. They learn enough, they understand enough, they're able to handle multiple jobs. It's not easy, but they're doing it. It's good to see, right? You know, they're successful. And this is what we try to do here, give you the best materials, build you properly, so it's not one and done. It's not like you're gonna go get a job and get fired. We need you to be successful in the long run, sustain your career, things like that we focus on. So it's important that, you know, we are giving you right tools and materials. And I want to be more involved with this batch going forward. I will be spending more time with you guys, whether if it's one-on-one or another group study or things like that. So let me know what works for you guys. I'll try to have at least another day kind of review session. We can talk about what we covered during the weekend, and any day is good for me, as long it makes sense. Even my during US business hour is fine too. I can take some time out and help you guys.